Hello, everyone. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I thought I would take a look at today's news and some other stories and things that I had come across and been saving for you, and go over them just kind of casually. So, turning to our first story here, I came across this is Tuesday, October 4th, published by Reuters. So, here Pepsi's getting sued. Customers of Naked Juice apparently are a little upset that the product contains fewer high value ingredients like kale and instead contains a lot of apple juice. Pepsi calls the lawsuit baseless, saying it did not mislead its customers. So, in this kind of lawsuit, the dispute really comes down to the facts. What can the what can the plaintiff actually prove? Can the plaintiff actually come into court and show via some document or something that there was an advertised amount of an ingredient that was expected? Maybe there's some advertisements or something that Pepsi made it really sound like there's a large amount of high value ingredients. But let's see, it also says that the drinks have no sugar added when they actually contain as much sugar as a can of Pepsi. So that's just kind of the state of America at this point, is we add sugar to everything. If you've ever try this as an exercise sometime, try going someplace and trying to get a drink that doesn't contain sugar or caffeine or high fructose corn syrup. Me personally, I purchase root beer that is locally made just because it's good and it is made with sugar instead of with high fructose corn syrup. Maybe we'll do a giveaway sometime. On to our next story. NBC News reports that a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit by the Ferguson protesters claiming excessive force against the police department. This came after the death of Michael Brown. They filed a lawsuit, and Judge Henry Autry sided with Missouri law enforcement. Protesters have completely failed to present any credible evidence. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a case. That doesn't mean that the protesters didn't have a good case, and I'm not saying they did or they didn't. But what they weren't able to do is present that evidence in court. They either didn't do a good job and the judge dismissed the lawsuit, or they really didn't have the evidence to present and did the best job they could with very little evidence. That's really what that means. And they vow to appeal. A battle we will keep fighting. We will end it the right way and get justice for these people. Okay, we'll see. All right, here's an actual copyright. Wait, nope, this is not a copyright lawsuit. This is a defamation lawsuit. It looks like Jerry Heller, manager for NWA, died during the proceedings. I don't think it actually died. He actually died during the actual proceedings, but he died while things were in process. And a judge has said that you can't maintain a lawsuit without him. There had been one claiming that he exploited an unsophisticated artist by discouraging him from hiring a lawyer during negotiations, something that would most definitely be considered unethical, if not outright illegal. Then everyone might know Carol Highsmith. She is a renowned American photographer of American iconography. I'll put it that way, as they put it here. This is really interesting. She puts a lot of her, if not all of her work, into the public domain, and then other companies now have taken the public domain work and relicensed it, which I guess you could do. I could charge you a fee to do something that you could do yourself. So depending upon how they've written the agreements, they may actually just be licensing really nothing. Well, she has sued over this, saying that this is either some kind of copyright damages or something. And this will be interesting. Works that are in the public domain are pretty much free to use for anything. Hence, some of the Sherlock Holmes things that you see coming out these days, because so much of Arthur Conan Doyle's work is in the public domain. So if they're in the public domain, you should be able to take that and try to charge a fee for it. And if you can charge a fee for it, great. I don't know that she has a case here. I'd have to really look into the details. Getty says that plaintiff's claims are an attempt to gain some measure of legal protection that she relinquished. It's not illegal to charge people for public domain works. And as far as I know, that's correct. So there might be a ruling here that puts clarity to that, sets forth exactly what the terms of public domain are. And does that mean that you can't ever charge for it? No, I think you can charge for it. In some places, you're only allowed to charge a reasonable fee for the reproduction. So maybe a print would be $200 or $300 if it was printed with high quality inks on a high quality canvas, or I have an aluminum print behind me above my head there of two flowers. Very beautiful, but that was probably $50 for that small print. So sure, you could charge for the actual printing, but I think the argument here is over the actual reproduction of the work, not the charging for anything. This one is one I wanted to bring to you for the last month, but hadn't gotten around to it yet. The ABA Journal reports that 2 lawyers are permanently disbarred after they set up an opposing counsel attorney in a DUI. They actually had one of their staff members visit him at a bar where he was having drinks and get him drunk and get him to drive when he had no intention of driving. And then there was a waiting police officer who pulled him over. I don't know the outcome of the actual DUI. That would be a very interesting case to find and follow. But the 2 attorneys, plus it looks like a third, had previously been disbarred. The 3 attorneys that coordinated this setup lost their law licenses and can no longer practice law. One of them said that he is disappointed to lose his license, but he has moved on and is very happy in his current endeavor as an auto glass business owner. I have a couple more from the ABA Journal that I think are pretty cool. Staff attorney is fired after she is accused of wearing judge's robes. Now, when you read further into this story, this is a staff attorney working for a judge and filled in for the judge once or twice on minimal cases, a continuance of a traffic case, and a case dismissed because an officer didn't appear. Why would there be anything wrong with that, right? But there is, it's a very technical violation of due process, your right to notice and an opportunity to be heard by an impartial tribunal and receive a fairly reasoned opinion. And it's violated at the most basic level that you did not get to see a judge. You got to see the judge's staff member. Is it a really huge violation because it was a traffic continuance? No, these are not huge violations, and I wouldn't expect a civil rights lawsuit to be filed and huge damages to be awarded. There's a technical violation here, and so yeah, I see why they fired the $57,000 a year employee who worked at the courthouse. Do you need some supplies from Walmart? You might also be able to get your law firm, your legal services from Walmart, if not by now, in the near future. It looks like some enterprising attorneys have created a commoditized flat service or flat rate legal services business, and put it inside Walmart, partnered up with Walmart, and there is now going to be something similar to LegalZoom inside Walmart that you can get some flat rate services. And finally, let's talk about lawyer suspended for courtroom disruptions, claimed Marshall tripped her. This is a good, if you've ever seen anyone have an outburst or freak out in a courtroom, it does not go well. I would never recommend ever misbehaving in a courtroom, you can get away with a lot of really weird arguments if you can keep it together and say it with a straight face and not get upset about what's going on. But something that's even more rare than that is when the lawyers themselves are the ones who freak out. Here's a lawyer who was suspended for a year because she repeatedly admonished, or excuse me, she was repeatedly admonished for interrupting the court and other counsel, slamming objects on the table, loud comments when ruled against, then telling the judge that she didn't make those loud comments, making a loud screaming noise that could be heard in other rooms of the courthouse, something compared to a dead animal, dying animal. That sounds like behavior that you really would not want from an attorney. And here's the second half of that. Attorneys, very technically, are a wing of the court, are an officer of the court. So a police officer is an officer of the law. He executes the law. We are an officer of the court, an officer of the judiciary. It doesn't really entitle us to too many special privileges. We don't get like to carry a gun or something like that or anything special. But we do get held to a higher standard for courtroom conduct. And somewhat in return, we are given a lot of leeway in making our arguments and pleading our client's case. So when attorneys abuse that privilege, we get slapped pretty hard. And this person even made the point that they got a harsher punishment than someone who had committed vehicular homicide. So there's a good point to be made there. However, misbehavior in the courtroom, it diminishes the credibility of the court and the process too. So courts will take that very seriously, whether you like it or not. So those are the eight law stories I brought for you today. I hope you liked them. What do you guys think of those? Leave me your comments below, and I will try to do my best to answer each and every one of them as I can. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. Thanks for joining me. Like this video if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, share to help grow the channel or support me on Patreon. There will be a link in this corner for the Patreon if you would like to add something to that. Thank you very much, everyone who has supported me already. I was very surprised this morning to wake up and see so many new supporters. I love you guys very much. Have a great week. I'm Leonard French.